Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, and hello everybody, and hello my dear students. So today I am going to conclude the last episode of the chapter The Portrait of a Lady. I think here just I am going to showcase or put it down the relationship between the grandma and the writer Khushwant Singh. So philosophy, it is full of, and not all it is glamorous, and it is also the full swing of perspective, and something also curiosity to also anxiety about the minds of readers to know about what was the final stanza or the last concluding part just going to be just imprinted in the minds of the readers. So I am going to touch it down also the last episode, क्या हो रहा है उसका बीच में जो रिलेशनशिप का राइटर खुशवंत सिंह और हिज ग्रैंड माँ और ग्रैंड मदर. I think I am going to the last episode about that. So okay. So I think in everybody's life, so there comes the chance, the opportunity, the glamour of hope to go for the higher studies. And in that case, even if the grandparents are so painful, so thoughtful, so gloomy, so desperate, and so despairing, and so dejected about that my grandchild will never go abroad or any foreign tour for higher studies or foreign trip for higher studies, because they think that my grandchild is going from me. So here is a cut-off relationship between the grandparents and their grandchildren. And ସେମାନେ କେବେ ହେଲେ ଚାହାନ୍ତିନି ଯେ ପିଲାଟି ଆମଠାରୁ ଦୂରେଇକି ରହୁ, ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ବାହାରକୁ ଯାଉ, ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟଡି ପାଇଁ ହାୟର ଷ୍ଟଡି କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ସର୍ଭିସ୍ କରିବାକୁ ବାହାରକୁ ଯାଉ. କାରଣ ସାଧାରଣତଃ ଜେଜେମା ଜେଜେବାପା ମାନେ ସାଧାରଣତଃ ନାତି ନାତୁଣୀକି ଏତେ ପରିମାଣରେ ଲଭ୍ କରନ୍ତି ବା ଏତେ ପରିମାଣରେ ପ୍ରଚୁର ସ୍ନେହ ମମତା ଢାଳି ଦିଅନ୍ତି, ସେ ଚାହାନ୍ତିନି ନିଜ ପାଖରୁ ଛାଡ଼ିବାକୁ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ. So that's why in case of the such matters which happen in case of writer Khushwant Singh, as usual as common it is. So now I am going to the topic of that. So when writer Khushwant Singh's turn came for the higher studies to go to one of the universities, so during the time some turning points came just in their lives, in their relationships. And here writer Khushwant Singh thought that my grandmother would feel unhappy, would feel cheerfulness because of hearing this matter or this subject. କାହିଁକି ନା ରାଇଟର ଖୁଶୱନ୍ତ ସିଂ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ମୋ ଜେଜେମା ମୁଁ ଯେଉଁ ବାହାରକୁ ଷ୍ଟଡି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ହାୟର ଷ୍ଟଡି ପାଇଁ ଯାଉଛି, ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ସେ ଏଇ ନ୍ୟୁଜ୍ ଶୁଣିଲା ମାତ୍ରକେ ତାଙ୍କ ମନରେ ଗୋଟିଏ ଗଭୀର ଗୋଟିଏ କୁଠାରାଘାତ ଆସିଯିବ, ତାଙ୍କ ହୃଦୟରେ ଗୋଟେ ବଡ଼ ଶକ୍ତ ଆଘାତ ଲାଗିଯିବ. ବଟ୍ ହିଜ୍ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡ ମଦର ନେଭର ପ୍ରୋଟେଷ୍ଟେଡ୍ ଆବାଉଟ୍ ଇଟ୍, ନେଭର କମ୍ପ୍ଲେନ୍ଡ ଆବାଉଟ୍ ଇଟ୍. She made no sign of complaining about anything, but still she was just doing the constant prayers, just moving his lips. Or in other words, she was busy in just reciting or singing the prayers just on her lips every now and then. ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ବୋଲୁଥାନ୍ତି ସବୁବେଳେ. So I think next what happened? So when Khushwant Singh was ready to leave for the house, to go for the abroad, and to reach the station. So during the time, grandma also accompanied him to the station. Grandma also went to the station to leave his dearest grandchild, but she made no sign of complaint. She made no sign of complaint anything, or no feelings of emotion, no tearful eyes, nothing worried about it, but still constantly moved in prayers her lips was. ଯାହାକୁ କିନ୍ତୁ ପ୍ରେୟାର ସେ ବୋଲୁଥାନ୍ତି. But during the time when the train came, Just before that, the grandma just gave a very soft kiss. Very silently, she gave the one kiss on the forehead of her grandchild. ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ସ୍ନେହ ମମତା ଭରା ଗୋଟେ କିସ୍ ସେ ଢାଳି ଦେଲେ କାହାକୁ ନା ତାଙ୍କ ନାତିଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ। କାହିଁକି ନା ତାଙ୍କ ନାତି ଯେହେତୁ ବିଦେଶ ଯାତ୍ରା କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ଫରେନ୍ ଟ୍ରିପ୍ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ହାୟର ଷ୍ଟଡି, ତେଣୁ ଦୁଃଖ ଭରା ହୃଦୟରେ ସେ ମମତାର ବନ୍ଧନରେ ଯାହା ବି ହଉ ସେ ନିଜ ନାତିକୁ ଟିକେ ଅତି ଖୁସିରେ ଗୋଟେ just she gave a kiss on the forehead of her grandchild. So during that time, then what happened? This scene was quite, I think, pathetic, and this scene was, I think, it is very painful, heartbroken. But still, then the grandma controlled that. But then what happened? After 5 years, when writer Khushwant Singh went back home, then what happened? Again, grandma went to pick up his grandchild to the railway station, and standing on the platform, very eagerly, painfully, anxiously, and very torrentially, just she waited for her grandchild to take down from the train. କେମିତି ମୋ ନାତିଟି ଟ୍ରେନ୍ରୁ ଆଜି ଓହ୍ଲେଇବ, ସେ ଆଜି ରେଡ଼ି, all out ready to receive her grandchild. Just after 5 years, just her grandchild just was backing home. So that time also, her lips was constantly busy in moving the prayers. That time also she was emotionless. She had also no sign of emotion. She became emotionless. ସେଠି ବି ତାଙ୍କର କିଛି ଇମୋସନାଲ ଫିଲିଂ ଆସିନି, no emotional touch feeling, no emotional feelings came. So that's why constant prayer କିନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଚାଲିଥାଏ. So during that time, it gave the writer Khushwant Singh something very cheerless and feeling very dejected about that. Then writer Khushwant Singh was just thought that, so my grandma was such kind of ocean of love and affection for me. Now she has lost everything. She has forgotten all things from her mind. Because once who loved me so much, so abundantly, so intensely, and so tremendously, so gloriously she loved me. Now all have gone out of her hearts, because the grandma now is loving, just feeding the birds, the sparrows. So here Khushwant Singh just is telling that grandma is feeling more comfortable, more easier, more happier than in my company. କାହିଁକି ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମା ସବୁବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କ କମ୍ପାନୀରେ ଭଲ ରହିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋ କମ୍ପାନୀକୁ ସେ ଆଦୌ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି। କାହିଁକି? So that's why some negative feelings comes to the mind of also the writer Khushwant Singh. So next what happened, just in the evening time, the grandma also made some arrangements, just of something also she arranged, that is. So then what happened means, she just called also some women from the neighborhood. So that's why she called some women of the neighborhood and start beating the drum and sang very loudly throughout the night. And everybody was surprised to see that, all were surprised to see that. But nobody was dared to stop her from doing such acts. କାହିଁକି ନା in the evening time ଯେତେବେଳେ grandma କ'ଣ କଲା, just arranged for a show, ଗୋଟେ ଶୋ ପାଇଁକା ଆରେଞ୍ଜ କଲା. Then she invited some women of the neighborhood, କିଛି womenକୁ ଡାକିଲା, beating the drums very loudly and sang out prayers also very loudly. I think it continued till the whole night, but nobody just complained about that. Nobody dared to also stop the grandma from doing or refrain from or such kind of the acts. Next morning what happened? The grandma fell illness. So the doctor attended her and predicted that the grandma was just having a mild fever. ଡକ୍ଟର ଆସିଲେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କହିଲେ ଯେ ନାଇଁ ତାର ଗୋଟେ କିଛି ନାହିଁ, ଗୋଟେ ସାମାନ୍ୟ ତାକୁ କିଛି ଜ୍ୱର ହେଇଯାଇଛି, ଗୋଟେ ସାଧାରଣତଃ ଗୋଟେ ସାମାନ୍ୟ ମାଇଲ୍ଡ ଫିଭର ହେଇଯାଇଛି. ବଟ୍ ସି ପ୍ରେଡିକ୍ଟେଡ୍ ହର୍ ଓନ୍ ଡେଥ୍. and she said that it was my last point of the life. It was my the last stage of my life. ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମା ଭଲ ଭାବେ ଜାଣିପାରିଥିଲେ ଯେ ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ମୋର ଜୀବନର ଶେଷ ସମୟ ଆସିଗଲା. So during that time what happened? The grandma also again constantly moved in the prayers and also ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ଜାରି ରଖିଲା. ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ସେମିତି ବୋଲିବାରେ ଲାଗିଥାନ୍ତି. So gradually, slowly and steadily, her body became emotionless. Her body became motionless. ନିଶ୍ଚଳ ହେଇଗଲା ତାଙ୍କ ଶରୀର. So the people lifted her off the beds. ତାଙ୍କ ଖଟରୁ ତଳକୁ ଆଣିକି ଓହ୍ଲେଇ ଶୋଇଦେଲେ and cover her body with a red piece of cloth. ଗୋଟିଏ ଖଣ୍ଡେ ନାଲି ଲୁଗା ତାଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ଗୋଡ଼େଇ ଦେଲେ. କିଏ ଲୋକମାନେ ସବୁ ଗାଁ ସାହି ପଡ଼ିଶା ଲୋକ ଆସିକିରି and they prepared for and they arranged for the funeral. ଶ୍ମଶାନ ଯାତ୍ରା ପାଇଁ ବନ୍ଦୋବସ୍ତ କଲେ. କାହିଁକି? ବଡ଼ି ଯେତେବେଳେ ମଣିଷର ସ୍ଥିର ହୋଇଯାଏ, ନିଶ୍ଚଳ ହୋଇଯାଏ, ଶେଷ ସମୟରେ ବଡ଼ି ହଲଚଲ ହୁଏନି, ଲୋକମାନେ ଭାବନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆର କ'ଣ ସି ହାଜ୍ ଗନ୍ ଡେଥ୍. ଯାହା ବି ହଉ ଲୋକମାନେ ଶ୍ମଶାନ ଯାତ୍ରା ପାଇଁକା ସବୁ କୋକେଇ ଫୋକେଇ ସବୁ ବନ୍ଦୋବସ୍ତ କଲେ. ମେକ୍ ରେଡ଼ି ଫର୍ ଦି ଫ୍ୟୁନେରାଲ ଆରେଞ୍ଜମେଣ୍ଟ. So in the evening time, when the people also again back to the just the room of the grandma, then what happened? Then what did they notice? The final touch of the journey to the heaven, that is called the funeral journey of the grandma. ଶେଷ ବିଦାୟ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମାଙ୍କର. ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି କେଉଁଠି ନା ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଶ୍ମଶାନ ଯାତ୍ରା, ମଣିଷର ଶେଷ ଯାତ୍ରା ଏଇଟା କୁହାଯାଏ. ଯାହା ବି ହଉ so when the people rushed back the home of the grandma, they found that the sparrows were also sitting around the grandma and the tears were also milking out of their eyes. ଏବଂ ଚଢ଼େଇମାନେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଶେଷ ସମୟରେ କ'ଣ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମାଙ୍କର ମର ଶରୀର ମୃତ ଶରୀରଟା ଖଟ ତଳେ ରଖାଯାଇଛି, କାରଣ ଲୋକମାନେ ତଳକୁ ନେଇ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି. ସାଧାରଣତଃ ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ପରେ ଲୋକମାନେ ବେଡ଼୍ରେ ରଖନ୍ତିନି. ଆଚ୍ଛା, ସେଠି ଚଢ଼େଇମାନେ ସ୍ପାରୋଜ୍ ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଘେରିକି ଚାରିପଟ ଯାକ ବସିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ଆଖିରୁ ଲୁହ ଗଡ଼େଇବାରେ ଲାଗିଛନ୍ତି ଚଢ଼େଇମାନେ. ଲୋକମାନେ ସୋ ଅଲ୍ ଦି ଆଇ ଥିଙ୍କ ୱେଆର୍ ସରପ୍ରାଇଜ୍ଡ ଆଟ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ସିନ୍. ସମସ୍ତେ ଆଶ୍ଚର୍ଯ୍ୟ ହେଇଗଲେ. ଇଭିନ୍ ଦି ମଦର ଅଫ୍ ଅଲସୋ ଦି ଖୁଶୱନ୍ତ ସିଂ ୱାଜ୍ ସୋ ମଚ୍ ପିଟି ଆଟ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍. ସେ ବହୁତ ଦୟା କଲେ. ଆଣ୍ଡ ଦି ମଦର ଅଫ୍ ଖୁଶୱନ୍ତ ସିଂ ଅଲସୋ gave them the pieces of bread. ତାଙ୍କୁ ବାସି ରୁଟି ଖାଇବାକୁ ଦେଲେ ଚଢ଼େଇମାନଙ୍କୁ. but they did not eat. So after the body was taken off for the final trip to the last stage of man's life, the final trip that is called the funeral trip. ଯେତେବେଳେ ମଣିଷକୁ ଶ୍ମଶାନ ନିଆଯାଏ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଟ୍ରିପ୍ରେ. So during the time when the people are ready to take her body off to the funeral journey, then the birds flew away from that site, from that position, from that home. ଚଢ଼େଇମାନେ ତାପରେ ଉଡ଼ି ଚାଲିଗଲେ. and from that day, since that day, the sparrows could be never seen again in that place. ତାପରେ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମାଙ୍କର ମୃତ ହେବାର ପରଠାରୁ କେବେ ହେଲେ ଚଢ଼େଇମାନେ ଆଉ ସେ ଜାଗା ମାଡ଼ିଲେ ନାହିଁ. So what kind of relationship is it? Even the humans betrays, humans apologizes, the humans treacherers and the humans thokafires. But still then what kind of relationship was built between the birds and also the grandma? ସାଧାରଣତଃ ମଣିଷ ଧୋକା ଦିଏ, ପ୍ରତାରଣା କରେ, ମଣିଷକୁ ଠକେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଚଢ଼େଇମାନେ କେବେ ହେଲେ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମାକୁ ଠକିଲେନି. ଶେଷ ସମୟରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଚାରିପଟ ଜଗି ରଖି ଆଖିରୁ ଲୁହ ଗଡ଼େଇ ଚାଲିଲେ. So what kind of relationship is it? One could not imagine about it. I think it was very pathetic scene. The scene was full of that is called the serene and full of that is politeness. So sadness of that scene. Even if one could see that, and the tears will also bubbling out of the eyes of everyone. ଯିଏ ବି ଦେଖିବ ମର୍ମନ୍ତୁଦ ଘଟଣାରେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଆଖିରୁ ଲୁହ ଝଡ଼ିକି ଆସିବ. So I think today of the final stanza. So just I have completed that whole the chapter and all episodes just I have been completed. So still then thank you all and bye to all.